We are working on GMetrix Word Core Skills Review 1. The first task wants us to go ahead and create a document from a template, so we'll click File, New. Up here in the Search Online, we'll go ahead and type in Report Design, hit Enter for it to start searching, and then what you want to do is to go ahead and scroll through here until you find it, and it's this one right here. From here, you want to go ahead and save the document. We'll click File, Save As. What you want to do is map to your GMetrix templates folder. We'll call it Sample. Click Save. Task 2 wants us to go ahead and add the predefined Sample 2 watermark to the document. So what we want to do is go to the Design tab here at the top and the page background. We're going to go ahead and click the watermark drop down, and you want to scroll through this list until you find Sample 2. Task 3 wants us to go ahead and use the Find and Replace. We're on the Home tab. In the Editing group, we'll click Replace. We're going to go ahead and type in Australia, and we'll type in Canada as the replace word. So it's looking for Australia. We're going to replace with Canada. And what we'll do is click Replace All, click OK, and then we can click Close. Task 4 wants us to go ahead and apply the Arial font to the paragraph with confidential information. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and scroll in so we can see it a little bit better. And what we're going to do is just select this paragraph here. And on the Home tab in the font group, we'll go ahead and select Arial. Task 5 wants us to go ahead and create a left indent to the paragraph with confidential information paragraph. So what we'll do is we'll put our cursor here in this paragraph, and what we'll do is we'll go to the Home tab, Paragraph Group dialog box, and there are a few ways to do this, but in the indentation group for left, we'll go ahead and select 1 and hit Tab, and we'll click OK. Task 6 wants us to go ahead and apply a double line spacing to the entire document. So what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and put our cursor here in the document. We'll select Control A, and then from here, what we want to do is we'll go to the Home Paragraph Group dialog box, and line spacing, we'll just go ahead and select double. And there are a few ways to do this, but that one's probably the easiest. Task 7 wants us to go ahead and put a hyperlink on the text Fusion Tomo Incorporated. We'll go ahead and zoom in to this first paragraph, and that text is right here. From here, what we want to do is after we've selected that text, click Insert here at the top and click Hyperlink in the Links group. And then what we want to do is select Existing File or Web Page, and then down here just type in www.fusiontomo.com, and we'll click OK. Task 8 wants us to go ahead and insert a table into the second page 2 of this document. So what we'll do is we'll click in here, we'll scroll in to see this, and then we'll go to page 2. And it says that it wants us to put it in between the first 2 paragraphs. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll put our cursor in between those 2. And then on the Insert tab here at the top in the Tables group, it says 3 by 4. And that table's in there. And then it wants us to go ahead and change the style. So we'll go ahead and select that. With that, we have the Table Tools Design here at the top. And we're looking for List Table. So we'll scroll down to the List Tables group. And we're looking for List Table 1 Accent 3. Make sure that you hover and make sure that the names match. Task 9 wants us to go ahead and insert an image and then apply an effect to it. So what we'll do is we'll scroll in to this document. We'll go to the second page, and it tells us that it wants us to apply it after the second paragraph on page 2. So we'll put our cursor here at the end of that paragraph. We'll click Insert, Pictures. And what we'll want to do is map to our GMetrix templates folder. We'll select oranges. And then what it wants us to do is to go ahead and select the artistic effect line drawing. So in the Adjust group, we'll click this drop down, and I believe it's this one. If you're not sure, make sure you hover. Task 10 wants us to go ahead and apply a left tab stop to our 2 yellow sections. Let's go ahead and zoom into this document so we can put our cursor here in this yellow section. And it wants us to put our first left tab stop at the 1-inch mark. So this is the left tab here in the left-hand corner. If it doesn't show that symbol, make sure you click it until you see that left tab. And then all we want to do is actually just click here at the 1 inch and it's hard to see, but that same symbol that's here is here. And what that means now is that if I put my cursor in front of the A and I hit the tab key on my keyboard, notice it went ahead and pushed it over to the right 1 inch. And I need to go ahead and do it for the second yellow part. And so I just need to put my cursor there again and select 1 again, and then do the same. Hit tab on the keyboard. Task 11 wants us to go ahead and add 2 words to our autocorrect settings. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and click File, Options. We'll go ahead and select Proofing. And then in the autocorrect options, we'll click Autocorrect Options here. We want to click Exceptions. And we're on the first letter tab. What we want to do is first is Fusion Tomo. We'll go ahead and type it. Make sure you capitalize the T. And we'll click Add. And the second word it wants us to add is black bread. We'll click Add. Click OK. OK. Shrink this screen so we can click OK. Task 12 wants us to go ahead and insert 2 continuous section breaks. And then it wants us to go ahead and change the margins of that section. So let's go ahead and zoom in on our document. The first place we want to do put the continuous section break is before this yellow section. So we'll put our cursor at the very beginning of A. And then what we want to do is go to the Layout tab here at the top in the page group or page setup. We'll click the breaks drop down and we'll select continuous. Now, if you can't see anything, which you can on mine, it has been placed. You just want to go to the paragraph group and click paragraph show hide. And notice it shows that continuous section break here. The other place that we want to put it is on the right after the second yellow section. So we'll put our cursor here right before in consideration, and we'll do the same thing. Page setup, breaks, continuous. And again, if you don't have that show hide mark, you won't see these lines showing you the breaks. We'll go ahead and put our cursor here in for the second part, which wants us to do is change the margins here to moderate. So we're on the layout here in the page setup group still, and we'll click moderate. Notice it went ahead and it changed the margins there. Task 13 wants us to go ahead and prevent a page break in the final paragraph by keeping the lines together. So what we want to do is we'll go ahead and zoom in to see this a little bit better. We want to select our final paragraph and click and highlight everything until the bottom of that paragraph, which ends on page 2. With that selection, we're going to go ahead and on the Home tab and the paragraph dialog box, we'll click that open. And what you want to do is if it doesn't go here, you want to go to the line and page breaks. And you just want to go ahead and click the box that says keep lines together. We'll click OK. And notice it went ahead and pushed that paragraph down. Task 14 wants us to go ahead and sort the data in this table. So let's go ahead and zoom in on the document and we'll go ahead and select our table. With that selection, we now have Table Tools Design here at the top and Layout. You want to be in the Layout tab, and we want to go ahead and in the data click Sort. And what we want to do is not country, but tons of apples, and we want to select descending. We'll click OK. Task 15 wants us to go ahead and insert a text box into this document. Doesn't really matter where, you just want to make sure you put it in the first page. What we want to do is go to the Insert tab here at the top, and in the text group, we want to select Text Box drop-down. And then we want to scroll through this list until we find Motion, Quote, and then we just want to type this text. Make sure you type the period. Task 16 wants us to go ahead and make this list a table. So let's go ahead and scroll in. We'll select our range here, this list. And what we want to do is go to the Insert tab here at the top in the Tables group. Click Convert Text to Table. And if this doesn't say to here, you've either selected this space here or this space at the bottom. And we want to go ahead and auto-fit the contents. So we'll check this here and we'll click OK. Task 17 wants us to go ahead and change the bullets in Objective 1.1. So let's go ahead and scroll in on this page. And what we'll do is select the bullets here. Notice how that's highlighted. And what we want to do is change it from the type of bullet it is to the check marks. So with all of those selected, I can click that and notice the change. Task 18 wants us to go ahead and add numbering to this page. So what we want to do is go ahead and select confidential information paragraph, and the last general provisions, and we don't have to select all of the text. It does tell us to exclude this sign by, so if you just end on this page, you should be good. On the Home tab, it does tell us which numbering it wants, so we'll click the drop down for numbers, and it wants the number with parentheses here. Task 19 wants us to go ahead and select the yellow text here, so we'll scroll in, and what it wants us to do is select it and then move it into 2 columns and then put a line in between. So what we want to do is select that text. We'll click layout here. In the page group, we'll click columns. What we want to do is click more columns, and the reason being is because we'll select 2 here at the top and we want to add that line. So we'll click that line button and click OK. Task 20 wants us to go ahead and change the position of the footer at the bottom of the document. There are a few ways to do that. My favorite way to get to the footers is double click in the footer. And when we double click here, we get the header and footer tools design tab. And then we just want to change the position of the footer here from 0.5 to 0.4. And then we can close our header and footer. Task 21 wants us to go ahead and apply a table of contents to this document. So with our cursor where it's at, all the way at the top, we want to go to references here and the table of contents. We want to go ahead and click this drop down, and we'll go ahead and click the custom table of contents. And in the general formats, we just want to go ahead and select formal, and 3 levels is what we want. Click OK.